Quite often my clients ask me if they should get the under cabinet lights, and my answer is always the same. Yes, I really think you should get those lights because your kitchen will just be so much more cozy when you have under cabinet lights, and it will look great at any time of the day. But I find that the most important reason though to get the under cabinet lights is that you will have much more light on the countertop where you will be working. If you don't have the countertop lights and you only have a light source sitting behind you up under the ceiling, you will experience that you will cast a shadow onto the countertop where you will be working, and that's not convenient. But if you have the under cabinet light, that won't be a problem because the under cabinet light will shine down on the work surface right in front of you. Then the next question I get from my clients is that they, at some point during the project, they will say, well, the electrician would like to do the under cabinet lights. What do you think about that? And I'm very much okay with that, but I think you should ask the electrician what kind of light you're going to have, because I have seen so many times that the light the electrician offers is not that great. And I have even seen the electrician install Ikea lights, but they, as in this example, picked the wrong one because this is a spotlight and not a light strip. And then, as you can see here, they have put some special wires into the wall that is running to the power supply sitting in a sink cabinet. And then you got all those mirrors. And in my opinion, it doesn't really look great. It does not have that sleek look that the lights from Ikea provides when they are installed the right way. And in this video, I will show you how I install the under cabinet lights from Ikea. It is very easy, so keep watching. Let's get started. If you have seen any of my other videos, you know I always have a plan for doing things. So the first thing I do is line up the lights that I have to put in the specific kitchen. In this kitchen, we only have 3 upper cabinets where we want the under cabinet lights, and that is 2 24-inch cabinets and a 21-inch cabinet. Since IKEA don't have a 21-inch long middle LED under cabinet lights, we will use an 18-inch and 2 24 inches. In this kitchen, the power supply for the lights will be sitting in the cabinet above the microwave hood because it can be plugged into the same outlet. So the wiring for the lights will be connected to the lights at those 2 red crosses and run into the cabinet as shown in this sketch. When you plan your under cabinet lights and the in cabinet lights, it's important to know how much watt each light is consuming, because the big power supply from IKEA can handle 30 watts. So as you can see here, the 2 24-inch lights, they take 6 watts each, and the 18-inch 5 watt, which in total is 17 watts. So we are way below the maximum load of 30 watt for that power supply. So keep that in mind when you're planning your lights. Now we're ready to start installing the lights, and the first thing I do is to unpack everything so I know that everything is intact and not broken, and I have all the wires and the whatnot needed for installing those lights. As you can see, I'm putting in the upper cabinets first, and then I put in the lights before I put in the base cabinets, because it's just so much more easy to be sitting on the floor under the cabinets when you're installing the lights. And at this point in the installation, the upper cabinets are not tied together. You can clearly see that I didn't put in the panels next to the vent cabinet, and those 2 cabinets to the left are not tied together either. When you take that wire for the light that goes from the light to the power supply out of the package, you can see that it has a plug at each end, and they are not the same. The one I showed you, the flat one, is the one that goes into the light, and this one, the round one, is the one that goes into the power supply. So clearly it is important that the wire is being put behind the cabinets in the right direction, otherwise you cannot plug in anything. And now you simply take that wire and you bring it in behind the cabinet. I always start up there in the corner so I can go into the vent cabinet where the power supply is sitting in this case, and then I pull the wire down, and when it's coming down behind the cabinet, I need to bring it up again in the right hand corner, as you can see. And for this I use one of those fishing wires because that is just so much more easy. And in this case, the cabinets are sitting so close to the ceiling that I cannot lift out the cabinet from the wall at the bottom, which would make it a bit more easy for the wire to fall down behind the cabinet. So in this case, I'm using the fishing wire. Before I tell you what I have in my hand here, I will tell you that now it's time to tie those cabinets together per section. That means the section to the left of the vent hood. And since we only have one cabinet to the right, there's nothing that needs to be tied together with at this moment. Not before the panel comes in. And now to that piece of wood in my hand. That is my old template for putting in the pot lights, but I use the same one for putting in the under cabinet lights because I have made a mark 4.5 inches from one end, so I know I can easily make a mark under the cabinet at that distance, 4.5 inches from the front, where I can put in a pencil line under the cabinet where the little plastic clip that will hold the lights to the cabinet will be installed. You make that line at the very end of the cabinet, except for the 21-inch cabinet where the light is only 18 inches. That means you have to make that line where you put the clip about 3.5 inches from the end of the cabinet. And with the position for the small plastic clip all marked under the cabinet, you can put them up. If you have a cabinet like on the right hand side here with only one light, you just need a single clip at each end. On the other side, you need a single clip at each end of the section and a double one in the middle. When you install that little clip, it's important that the two sides of the clip that are kind of protruding from the clip is sitting in the direction of the wall. Otherwise, you cannot clip in the lights. With the clips in place, it's time to click on the lights. And since we don't have more than 3 lights here, the light on the right hand side is not connected to any other light, so you can just put that on. And the other two, what I do is I clearly start from one end and then I let it hang down and I connect the next light. That means I only clip it in at one end, connect it with the next light, and then click that connection of those 2 lights up and so forth. And it's fairly easy. So just give it a good hard press upwards and you will hear a nice little click when the lights is sitting how it's supposed to. And with the lights in place, I now put in that little end cover that comes with the wire for the lights. Not that it's that important, but it's just closing off nicely, that the end of the light where the wire is not connected will also be closed off, so there's not an open end to that light. And I do that at both sides. Now we're almost done. We just have to put the remaining hanging wire from the light that goes up behind the cabinet inside that long, narrow conduit that comes with the wires. And on the left-hand side, since we have distance between the cabinet and the wall, I can put it on the side of the cabinet so it is truly out of sight when you're looking up under the cabinet, as you can see in this picture. On the right hand side of this kitchen, we don't have a wall with a distance to the cabinet where I can hide the conduit and the wiring. So I have to use the conduit to hang the wire up under the cabinet. And what I do is I let it run in kind of an angle towards the back. That means when you're looking into the side of this cabinet from the place where the range will be standing, then you cannot see that wire. As you can see in this picture here, it's starting from the end of the light and then it's running a bit to the right. So it's almost invisible. And now the very last thing I do is I connect the power supply. Even though I have no power up in that cabinet yet, I can still connect it to a receptacle somewhere else in the room and I can test that the lights are working. Which they are, as you can see. I truly hope that you liked this video, and if you did, please give it a like, or like up, or like thumbs up. You know what I mean. And if you like whatever I'm doing, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.